So if your seat's all busted up like mine is, the upholstery's torn and the bolsters are worn out, don't overlook junkyard seats. With a little elbow grease you can get them cleaned up. You might be lucky enough to find one in your factory color. If not, you can get this Duplicolor vinyl and fabric spray paint, and it's available in most common interior colors, and you can do a color change on a seat with little effort. So you can see here I've kind of pulled it apart a little bit. I've got the controls for the power seat taped off here in the front, and I've got the other non-fabric trim pieces taped off here on top. And of course, don't forget about the switch in the back and the lever on the side. You want to get those taped off as well. But with a little prep, some vacuuming, some elbow grease with some upholstery cleaner, wipe it down with a little alcohol just to get any grease off of it that you can. Let it thoroughly dry, and then try painting it with this vinyl and fabric color like I'm about to do. So I'm going to go ahead now that I've got this taped off and start to paint it, and I will show you what it looks like when it's done. I should mention that this one had a couple of small cigarette hole burns. There where the black spots are now. I filled those in, stuffed a little foam down in there to get the upholstery nice and tight, and then just skim coated the cover with just a little bit of flex paste and made sure to spread it out nice and thin and flat. And since I am repainting this seat black, which is the color of my interior, it should just blend in nicely with the rest of the repainted fabric. So if you find an almost perfect seat in the junkyard, don't pass it up if it's the only one or the closest one you can get to something better than what you have. Simply put in a little more effort. Those holes are not hard to patch. You can even get upholstery kits if you want to keep the original color. They're pretty easy to do and available at most auto parts stores. But don't necessarily overlook a seat that's in overall good condition but might have a couple of small flaws. Okay, so here's the finished product, all painted. Looks pretty good. You can see that a few of those spots that I had to patch are a little shiny. If I had been able to find a seat that was completely intact with no cigarette holes in it, I wouldn't even have those. It would just be a nice looking black chair to match my black interior. But the vinyl and fabric paint worked really well. Covered it up, changed the color nicely. And it's way better than the seat I have, which both bolsters are horribly torn. The seat bottom is torn, and it actually kind of leans to one side as well, so the actual frame of the chair is bad. This will be a nice improvement, and certainly a lot cheaper than putting in a racing seat or something like that. This seat cost me about $25 at the local pull-your-own-part junkyard, and the can of paint was about 12 bucks. So around $35 or so, I got a nice improved seat that will look a lot better and certainly actually feel a lot better when I'm driving the car.